So I was down the basement doing some art. I am an artist, and I was downstairs in my studio drawing, and the doorbell rang. As part of my art, I do colored pencils, and I had them in my hand, and just in an effort to not put them down and lose track of them, I ran up the stairs and opened the door, and there was a young man there. And the young man identified himself as Carlin and gave me a brochure. He had been doing some landscaping business for the neighbors and asked me if I would take the brochure and perhaps use him if I needed his services. And I told him thank you and was ready to close the door, and he saw the hand with the colored pencils. He said, "Oh, are you an artist?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Would you mind if I came in and saw a piece of your art?" And my first initial thought was, this is a young man coming in to case my house and may rob me later. So I am normally very reluctant to allow that, but I also felt the Holy Spirit almost simultaneously tap me on the shoulder and say, "Let him in." So I let him in, and he looked at the piece of art. He was complimentary. I had the brochure. He left, and that was it. So I thought. A few weeks later, I decided I really could use him in some landscaping in my backyard, and I called him, and he performed the work, and he said, "Frosty, would you mind if I asked you if you would just be my art teacher a little bit?" I really felt in my heart that God was now entering the picture in a big way, was letting me know that his work was beginning. I really felt that. And I said, sure. So we arranged the first lesson, and he came over, and we sat down before the lesson, and I told him that I also mentored young men, and he instantly responded that he would like me to mentor him. So we began a study of the book of John, and it was sporadic because of his business, and he's working in the summer, but we met several times and got better acquainted. He wanted to get to know more people his age. He's a young man of 20, and I told him that our college-age ministry would be a very good place for him to be. So he subsequently joined that college ministry and has been attending that. So Carlin, around Thanksgiving, went to Arizona to visit his grandparents. We were still in contact via emails, and during that time, just perhaps the week before Thanksgiving, I got an email from him, and he was talking about his visit with his grandparents. And then there was a pause in the email, and he said, "Oh, by the way, I became born again during this trip." That was a joyful, joyful email response, one of the best I've ever had. When Carlin showed up for that first art lesson, it became apparent to me during our just conversation that Carlin, like most young men his age, are searching for meaning. They're searching for what is this life all about? How do I process this? What am I to do? What's my purpose? And it brought me back very much to when I was 20. I had no one to mentor me. I wish there had been. I wanted to go back and hug that 20-year-old that was me and tell him it was going to be okay.
I'm extremely thankful that you were a friend when I really needed a friend, extremely inviting. I was working on your property and you invited me in for dinner. Like, that is just extremely inviting, and it shows to the character that you have. And I think you were a perfect example of walking with God. So I wanted to join that. That's the greatest gift,
I love,
helping people.
I love you, pal.
I love you too, Frosty. I really appreciate everything you've done, man. You don't understand how thankful I am.
Oh gosh, I had no idea that you, I don't know what to say. You know, I'm 80 years old, and I had no plans on being 80. It happened as a surprise, I say, you might say, and as a part of that, I thought that perhaps my useful life was over. I think about the relationship that Carlin and I have developed with each other, the friendship, the love that we have for each other now. It's deep and it's wonderful. And just the idea of being with him as Emmanuel, God with us. God's with us during and part of that process as we are with others. So you can bet that I'm still going to be answering that door bell when it rings with that handful of pencils in my hand.